welcome to Recent Library Reads number 8. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the books I read from the library from August 23rd to 28th. I have some more books that I've been borrowing, some of which I've had for a little while. I've been able to renew them. I think I can renew them up to like 5 times as long as nobody else puts them on hold. So there are some books that I'm still trying to get to but haven't yet. But in these past 2 weeks or so, I have read some more books, so I'm going to talk about those. In my last Recent Library Reads video, I talked about reading some of the Arthur books by Mark Brown because I liked the show but hadn't really read any of the books up until recently, so I checked out a few more of those. So this time I checked out Arthur's Family Vacation, Arthur's New Puppy, Arthur Meets the President, Arthur and the True Francine, and Arthur's Pet Business. So these were fun. Some of the Arthur books I like more than others. Some of them I think have some really good messages or are educational in some ways, like the TV show. These books are fun, illustrated children's books that are a nice, wholesome, light read to read in between other books. I thought Arthur's Family Vacation was a good one. This is about Arthur and his family going on a vacation. He misses his best friend Buster and would rather be at camp with him, where he usually goes for the summer. And the vacation doesn't go as planned, but it's about trying to find other things that you can do. And so I liked the settings of this one, and I thought this one was good. It also involves cows. And a lot of the time, I really like the illustrations in these books. I think they're often very well done. It's also nice to see how the art style has evolved over time because the first Arthur book was from the 70s. So I think that even when some of these Arthur books I check out from the library may be newer editions, I think that the artwork is still the same. And I can see that. Sometimes the character designs are a bit different. There's Arthur's New Puppy. This probably came after Arthur's Pet Business, so I probably should have mentioned this one first. But this one is about Arthur getting his new puppy and some of the struggles that the family has with the puppy because he's not very well trained. He's causing them some issues, stressing them out. I think a lot of families can definitely relate to that, and they can see the reality of having a pet and how it's not just a cute little puppy. It can definitely bring some trouble, but it's also about how Arthur learns to train the puppy. So yeah, now I'll mention Arthur's Pet Business. So this one was about Arthur wanting a pet, and in order to prove to his family that he could handle it, he started a pet business where he looked after other people's pets. And I believe that is the story of how he got his puppy Pal in Arthur's New Puppy. His puppy was a puppy that one of the dogs he took care of had. I definitely like whenever it involves animals, like, look at that frog. Sometimes they're so unintentionally silly looking. So yeah, anytime the books involve animals, I think that's always nice. Another illustration I found particularly funny was this. It's a gerbil. It's Francine's gerbil, and there it is. It's just so little and not very detailed. This was in Arthur and the True Francine. I thought this one was pretty good. I really like the ones that take place in school. I've always enjoyed school settings. So this one is about how Francine is good at softball, but Muffy, her friend, copies her on a test and they end up getting in trouble for it. But I think it's also about learning to do the right thing. So I think this was definitely one of the better ones. It's definitely one of the older ones as well, as you can tell by the art style if you're familiar with what the characters look like now. It looks like the cover got updated, but the characters definitely look different. Arthur definitely had a longer nose. This one would have been 5 stars for me. I felt that there were some things that were a little unresolved, like just mainly like at the beginning, they're starting school and they're going to have their new teacher, Mr. Ratburn, and he is in the show, he is like their teacher in the show, but I felt that that was a little unresolved because they were talking about all these things they heard about him and how awful he was. And yeah, it does show him like taking them out for ice cream later in the book, or I guess sodas, that's what it was. But other than that, I still thought this was one of the best Arthur books I've read. I have actually given at least one of them 5 stars, and that was Arthur Writes a Story. But yeah, I generally have been giving these books like 3 to 4 stars. Maybe every once in a while 5. There's at least one that I gave 2. Some I like more than others. It's okay if a book is just a fun, entertaining story and doesn't have some sort of moral. I do like it when there's some sort of lesson in a book, but there doesn't have to be, and I definitely think it shouldn't be forced. I don't mind if there's something like that in a book. Yeah, the copyright page says this one is from 1981, so this is definitely one of the older ones. But I like that even in newer editions, although the cover may be different, that makes sense to make it more recognizable based on their appearances in the TV show. I like that the illustrations are still the same. And then there was Arthur Meets the President. I like how in this one, and maybe some of the others, DW is actually shown to be good. I don't know how often in the show, because I haven't seen all the show, she actually does something good, but it's nice to see her actually be a nice supportive sister. Not that she's a completely different character in the book, she still is the way she is in the show, but it's nice that she was kind of the one who sort of saved things in this one, and how she was actually nice and considerate in a way. And this one was also educational. They visit the White House, so it talks a bit about the White House and what's in it, so that could definitely be educational. And then there's one other book that I recently read from the library. Well, there's another, but I'm currently reading it, so that'll be in the next video. But the one other one is not a children's book. and that is the first volume of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. So this is the first novel in a young adult graphic novel romance series about two high school boys. I will be having an individual review of this come out sometime after this video, should be a few days after this, where I talk more in depth about this book and what I liked about it, because I did enjoy it. This was my first time consuming anything related to Heartstopper. I know there's a Netflix TV show. Maybe I'll watch that at some point. I don't know, but I have started reading this and I definitely want to read the rest of the series, as well as some of the novellas and stuff that go along with it. And I would like to read some of this author's other work as well. This was the first book by her that I've read. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought it was cute and wholesome, but also still important. It dismantled some stereotypes about gay people. For me, in a book, characters and their relationships are very important, especially if there's like a romance. It matters to me that the characters genuinely have connection and aren't just with each other because one found the other attractive. I don't mind if that's how the attraction initially starts off, but eventually has to evolve into something more for me. And I genuinely liked the actual connection that I felt these characters had, and I look forward to seeing more of them. I also like the art style. It's got this unique light green, white, and black art style, and I like it. It's not what I was expecting. I feel like usually in graphic novels they're in full color, but I don't mind. I think that this series has its own unique style, and I've come to like it. So yeah, I liked Heartstopper, and if you would like to hear more of my thoughts on it, you can watch my review of it. That should be coming out a few days from now. So here are some books from the library that I recently read. As I said, I do have more currently checked out and more that I will be checking out soon. Just haven't gotten to those yet or haven't finished them yet, but I do have a lot more Who Was books that I want to read. In fact, just the day of recording this, I added a bunch more to my TBR because I found a lot more, because I went through the list again and there are some new ones that have been announced since the last time I looked, and also I just find them interesting. I don't want to read every book in that series, but a lot of them are really interesting, especially when they're short and I can easily learn a lot about someone in like a day or two. So yeah, I think those books are really fun. And there are some other kinds of books as well that will be in my next recent library reads videos. I've been kind of slow with reading and haven't been reading a whole lot recently, but I am slowly getting back into the habit of it, and it's okay if you go through a period where you don't read very much, especially if you're focused on other things. So I'm trying to be kind to myself, and I'm slowly getting back into it, and it's been fun because I really do enjoy reading. And of course, I do plan on checking out more Arthur books as well. My county's library system does not have all of the original Arthur books, but it does have, I'd say, a good majority of them, so I definitely want to check out all the ones that they have. You can let me know what you have been reading, or how often you go to the library. I've recently been going every like 3 weeks, sometimes every 2 weeks, pretty often, like at least once, sometimes maybe twice a month. As you may have seen in a lot of my recent library reads videos, I often read shorter books that won't take me very long. Even Heartstopper, which is young adult, it's still a graphic novel. I still read this in only 2 days. It doesn't take very long because it's mostly pictures. But yeah, there are just so many smaller books, whether they're children's books or graphic novels or whatever, that won't take me very long to read, or novels in verse. That's a big one too. I've been reading some of those, and I just recently put on hold another novel in verse, so you should be hearing me talk about that one soon, and it sounds pretty interesting. It's by an author I've never read before, but I recently heard about her within the past few months, and it sounds pretty interesting, so I'm looking forward to reading that one and talking about it with you. So yeah, there are a lot of smaller books like those, and I'm like, well, those don't take me very long to read, so why not? I'll just go ahead and read those. I am still currently reading Momentous Events in the Life of a Cactus by Dusty Bowling. But as I said, I've been reading kind of slowly, so I've still been reading that for a while. But I am enjoying it very much, and I look forward to finishing it. I'm over halfway done with it. I've got about 100 pages, maybe a little less than 100 pages left, and I will be doing a review of it. Here are my recent library reads, and thank you for watching.